Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Commissioner James Rouse for the Department of Planning and Community Development, and welcome to our press conference to announce that we have adopted Mount Vernon's first comprehensive plan since 1968. We're very excited to be here today to share this news with you because it's been 57 years in the making, and what better way to go into the holiday season and the new year with such a wonderful announcement and to share it with all of our 74,000 plus residents. I'd like to acknowledge some folks that are here. Our Mayor Shoreham Patterson Howard, our City Council member, Council President Danielle Brown, Council Member Caitlin Gleason, and Council Member Ed Poteet. We have two members of our Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee here today, Precious Farrell, who will speak a little later, and Carla Figuereo. We have members of our consultant team, Cleary Consulting, with Pat Cleary and Peter Farrow from AKRF. We have a pretty packed agenda today, but I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Shoreham Patterson Howard for a couple of remarks.
So today is really a monumental moment because this comprehensive plan has been 57 years in the making. And I say that honestly. In 1968, that is the last time the city of Mount Vernon developed a comprehensive plan. And if I am graying, I'm sure our comprehensive plan is graying and older and needs lots of updates and upgrades. And so for decades, the city moved forward without a shared citywide roadmap to growth and investment. But today changes that as we have adopted our envisioned comprehensive plan. And so what does this plan represent? It envisions our roadmap for the future. It balances growth and revitalization with preservation, equity, and accountability. It reflects the voices of residents, business owners, large and small, faith leaders, youth, seniors, civic and neighborhood associations. Community members consistently called for safer streets, responsible government, attainable housing, stronger local businesses, more opportunities for home ownership, accessible open space, and healthier environment. And the plan is both aspirational and practical. It establishes 36 long-term goals with more than 400 specific objectives to guide decisions over the next few decades, or at least a decade. Mount Vernon's identity has always been a city of promise. And once known as the city of happy homes, Mount Vernon today is a distinct city of neighborhoods, deep roots, and extraordinary diversity. We're located just 13 miles from Manhattan with access to 3 Metro North rails on 2 Metro North lines, as well as 2 subway stops. Mount Vernon is a vital gateway between New York City and not just Westchester County, but the Hudson Valley. Our role in the region is very strategic, and this further defines how Mount Vernon will be reimagined for the next generation. Mount Vernon is a growing center for culture, creativity, and recreation. It's a city where manufacturing and industry have access to key regional and national markets. This plan positions Mount Vernon as a regional partner, a destination, and a driver of economic growth. And economic development is clearly central to the success and the sustainability of Mount Vernon's future. This plan talks about it. We must strengthen retail corridors, reinvigorate commercial districts, and grow our industrial and manufacturing base. Strategic investment in retail and industrial areas is essential to expanding the tax base. And a stronger tax base means more resources for public services, infrastructure, schools, neighborhood investment, and yes, steady, lower taxes. So the plan calls for reducing commercial and retail vacancies, modernizing industrial areas, and using excess city-owned property as a catalyst for public-private partnerships. Mount Vernon is ready to compete, attract investment, support local small businesses. And this is not something that I the city council, the planning department, the consultants or community did on our own. It has been a collaborative effort. And clearly when branches of government and divisions of government can work together to set aside whatever our personal aspirations, to decide on what is the best for the future, then you get a result, a plan that we've been able to adopt. So I want to say thank you with everything in me to our council who stayed the course, who opened up opportunities for the community to be heard. I want to thank our planning department who provide that technical expertise and organizational focus and continue to stick to this process. I want to thank our consultants who provided that external expertise because they've done these plans all throughout the region. And I want to thank the community who came out to over 30 workshops, whether they were online and in person, who shared their vision, their dreams, their hopes, and even just as importantly, their frustrations with where our community is and their passion for who our community could be if we work together for the future. I want to say that much more, but I'm going to say a few things. This is about quality of life, and it's about smart growth and placemaking. And so growth must be intentional and well-planned. And this plan channels new development to transit hubs, downtown corridors, and mixed-use areas. At the same time, it preserves the character of established single-family neighborhoods as well as our multiple-family neighborhoods. It provides placemaking strategies that will strengthen the public realm through improved streetscapes, public spaces, and design that reflects Mount Vernon's identity. And it is a cornerstone to ensure that housing is provided for all, whether it's single family or multiple family houses, whether we're looking at the expansion and uses of co-ops and condos so that our new families, our emerging families, our young professionals, and even our seniors who want to downgrade from a home to a condo or a co-op and still want to own, it makes these things possible. And so with expanded housing options and improved housing quality, it will address affordability, but it will also make sure that those who no longer want their single homes can give them up instead of hold on to them, opening this very tight housing market for a lot of our young professionals and our growing families. We want to make sure that strategies are here to address environmental justice, anti-displacement. We want to make sure that there's workforce opportunity and access to essential services. And growth must benefit our current residents as well as look to attract future residents who can bring more income and economic opportunities for our community. We are focusing on reliable and modern infrastructure. We want to make sure that our water and our sewer and our broadband and our transportation is intact and that we are focusing on climate resilience. But just as importantly, we want to make sure that our community is safe and that it is mobile for all who have to use it. And so through complete streets and transit access, we're supporting residents and economic activity. So the adoption of this plan is the beginning, it is not the end. And the next phase of the work will focus on adopting zoning ordinances and zoning amendments. And this will provide the reliability, the consistency, whoops, I'm so sorry, my phone. The reliability, the consistency, and the predictability that both businesses, residents, and those who are looking to invest in our community are looking for. So again, congratulations. Thank you to all who have been involved. And I'm gonna turn it over to our very proud City Council President, who I'm glad that we were able to do this before you moved on to your next position. You were here when this work started, and I'm glad that this has been able to be finished before your term is complete. So thank you for your partnership. Thank you also, Councilman Poteet, who will be rolling off the council. Your voices have been strong, consistent, and impactful. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So as the mayor said, today is a historic day for the city of Mount Vernon. For the first time in over 50 years, our city has adopted a new comprehensive plan, Envision Mount Vernon. And, this plan is not about any single project or any single proposal. It is about direction. It is about giving Mount Vernon a clear and intentional roadmap for how we grow, how we invest, how we make decisions over the next decade. And what this plan does is it puts community first. It reflects years of listening. We've literally done this for years. From residents, from neighborhood leaders, from business owners, from stakeholders across the entire city. And because of that, Envision Mount Vernon balances progress with preservation. One of the things that I harped on a lot was making sure we preserve our historical character throughout the city. I think it also recognizes the importance of economic development and infrastructure while also protecting the character of our neighborhoods and quality of life for our residents. I think the plan brings clarity, as the mayor said, and predictability of the future, and it allows the city council and developers and community members to work from the same playbook. I think for years we've kind of done it ad hoc. Let's do something here, let's do something there. This gives us an opportunity to know and see what's going to come in those neighborhoods, what we want to develop, what we want as a community, so everyone can be on the same page, so that developers can trust coming into the city without knowing whether or not there'll be a political decision made at council versus one that aligns with a plan. So I think this plan is important, and I'm so excited, as the mayor said, that we were able to start and finish this. This was one of the things that I remember on the campaign trail when we were running, that we said, what's the most important thing is getting a comprehensive plan done for our city, and the fact that we were able to deliver on that makes me proud. So I won't continue talking. I'll call up my colleagues. I'll call up Councilman Ed Poteet next, so that he can say a few words.
Good morning. I am Ed Poteet, and I'm a proud council member here in Mount Vernon, and I'm so happy to be here today. I want to thank my councilmates for all of their hard work and leadership. I want to thank our mayor, Sean Passon Howard, the best mayor in Westchester. I want to thank our planning commissioner and his entire team for the countless meetings and work that they've put into this. I want to thank our advisory board for their work here, and last but not least, that I want to thank the thousands of residents that came out to the dozens of public hearings that we had. They shared their hopes, they shared their dreams for the future, they even shared their frustrations, but we were happy to hear it all. So we're here, we have arrived here today, and even though it took us longer than it took Moses to find the promised land, we have arrived here today. So what does the comp plan mean? The comp plan is a vision for our future, and our future is bright. It lays out the historical character and strength of our community. It lays out the strength of our industrial base, and we want businesses to know we are open for business here in Mount Vernon. We have rich soil, so we want businesses to come, plant their roots, and see how far that they can grow. The comp plan lays out we have the best transportation in the entire county. So we invite new residents, we invite developers to come here and build, and residents to come here and build their families here in Mount Vernon. It lays out our diversity, and the fact that our diversity is not a weakness, but it's the strength of this city, and it's what makes this the jewel of Westchester. So I'm so grateful to be here today. I really want to thank our stakeholders and all the work, the 3.5 years, the 4 years worth of work that was put into this. And now I would like to introduce my councilmate, Caitlin Gleason.
One of these days we're going to have a step stool here for me. Listen, I'm very excited now, Vernon. This, for us to go in any direction, you need to have a map. This is a roadmap to success for the city of Mount Vernon. One thing that I would like to acknowledge is all the staff at City Hall, because we definitely interfered in a lot of operations with the city to get this accomplished, whether it be the employees at the Dole Center here at City Hall, some of our partners in the community that opened up their doors to allow us to come in and have community events there, and also to our consultants and our attorneys. We couldn't have done it without them. And a very big thank you to Mount Vernon for coming out and helping us shape what will be the future of the city of Mount Vernon. So thank you all very much on behalf of the whole city council. We are very excited about this. Unfortunately, Councilman Thompson and Councilman Box Hill could not be here today, but again, they're as elated as we are. Thank you so much.
So thank you to all of our elected leadership for coming out and standing up. Madam Mayor, thank you for having complete confidence and faith in our team here and in me to lead this process. And to our city council, thank you for your faith and, most importantly, patience getting through this process. I know it wasn't easy, and there was a lot of responsibility on your shoulders to see this through, and I'm proud that we've been able to do that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what this comprehensive plan is. We keep talking about what it's going to do, but how did we get here? And the comprehensive plan was a two-phased approach, and it was a community-based approach. I want to emphasize that. Community-based, while there's still a lot of work to do, while not every recommendation or idea was incorporated and included, the amount of work that was done to get to this point, as a planner, was very heartening and impressive. And I want to take a moment to highlight and thank all of my staff in the Department of Planning and Community Development, because they went above and beyond. As Madam Mayor had mentioned, over 30 meetings of public workshops, community conversations, surveys, online, in person, door knocking. We were out there. If we couldn't find a voice, we went looking for it. And we did our best to hear, and now is time for the work to begin. Councilmember Lateef said, plan is a vision, and that's exactly what it is. It's a vision. It's not an end result. The mayor said it's the beginning, not an end. What this process did was the work that we do, these are the guidelines. These are the foundations we work from in order to get to the details, in order to do the projects that we need to do. So you'll see some boards here, identifying neighborhoods, talking about zoning, talking about our core concepts. Again, these are our vision. Nothing is finalized. It is a 10-year vision, so the work takes place over 10 years. We did it in two phases. We focused first on downtown. The reason we did that is because it's been so long since we had a comprehensive plan, and that we had a couple of start-stops before. So we wanted to make sure that there was faith from the community that we were doing this work, that we were delivering a product. And delivering product in downtown where everyone can have buy-in is key. It's important. It impacts us all no matter what neighborhood you live in. So getting through that, we focused on the rest of the neighborhoods, and we heard your voices. As Council, President Brown stated, her focus was preservation, character of the neighborhoods, and we're doing that. We're focusing on that. We're seeing where growth is possible, preferably around our train stations, around Petrillo Plaza, and preserving the character of both our neighborhoods and commercial corridors the best way we can, while allowing for opportunities for current residents to move up and new residents the right opportunities to move in and where to move in, that it doesn't disrupt our neighborhoods. So we're pretty excited about moving forward, and it's not only about density, it's about improved connections for transit, it's about improved open space. It's about improved infrastructure, which, we've invested a lot in repairing our sewer systems and paving our streets. So this is continued work to make ourselves more sustainable and more resilient. To talk a little bit about some of the details and the approach to the plan, I'm going to invite Pat Cleary from Cleary Consulting to talk about some of the work he and his team did.
Thank you, James. Good morning, everybody. Just a couple of words on behalf of the consulting team. So the consulting team that supported this effort, AKRF, Hudson Valley Pattern for Progress, BRS, Cleary Consulting, Creative Urban Alchemy, several dozen professionals had spent now several years working toward the completion of this document. It wouldn't have been possible if it were not for the extraordinary support that we had from Commissioner Rouse, the Planning Department staff, virtually every person in this building, and of course the mayor and the city council. We had nothing but help and support from everybody throughout this process all along the way. That made our job so much easier. The work that we helped the city do involved a lot of nitty-gritty work. There were assessments and evaluations of every element of civic life here in the city. We reassessed, we reevaluated, and all of that channeled this exercise into a vision for the city, which we think will be very durable. The plan built on that is, if you've now heard a few times, this incredible foundation of public engagement and public support. Dozens of folks. So not only did we have support and help from everybody in this room, from the elected officials, from the mayor, we had an extraordinary element of support from the community, from everybody out there that had some stake in a particular issue. And as you've heard, sometimes those were sort of difficult conversations to have, but we worked through them and we found consensus at the end of the day. That was really important for us. The plan produced a series of what we call core concepts, where we evaluated things like housing and transportation and mobility, and importantly, produced an implementation strategy, how we get things done moving forward. A few just highlights with respect to what came out of this. James talked to a few of these things. The mayor mentioned the City of Happy Homes. The plan is now reflecting the City of Happy Homes 2.0. We're building on the success of the past. This is a thriving center for entertainment, for creative and cultural importance. That's a fundamental element in the plan. We're reinforcing the city as a place to play and compete based on the athletic and sports facilities in the community. And as James mentioned, it's really important to emphasize that we are engaging a number of economic engines in the city, and there are multiple ones, not the least of which are the manufacturing and industrial sector of the community. All of which while addressing the incredible infrastructure challenges that the city has been dealing with over the years and will continue to deal with moving forward. So again, this is a tool. It's a tool to strategically move the city in a comprehensive and appropriate future direction. But I think it was just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the plan is not a static document. It needs to evolve as the city evolves. So I believe, knowing the folks that we've worked with inside the city, the stewardship to maintain and advance this plan exists and it's in place today. So again, on behalf of the consulting team, it's been a privilege to work on this process, and best of luck, everybody, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Pat. Aside from Pat and Peter, from AKRF, who I mentioned, I want to acknowledge other members of the consultant team who made this happen. We had our outreach consultants, BRS Incorporated and Creative Urban Alchemy. We had our housing, economic development, and government efficiency consultant in Hudson Valley Pattern for Progress. And I'd like to thank AKRF and Hudson Valley for getting through these two phases with us, because we did switch up the consultant team, and we do acknowledge and thank Mud Workshop for their participation in the first phase as well. But, you know, they helped get us to this point, and they weren't the only ones who helped get us to this point. You know, we had support from the state. ESD gave us a $75,000 grant to help us get this off the ground, so we're very appreciative of municipal support on this beyond our boundaries, but yes, the taxpayers, the community of Mount Vernon helped fund this project and get us through. And we put together a nice advisory committee, a very healthy, robust advisory committee that helped guide us through this process. And I'd like to introduce Precious Farrow, one of those community advisory committee members, to say a few things.
Good morning, everyone. So during this time, while serving on the advisory board for the comprehensive plan for the city, I had one thing in mind. How can we make this city better? Mount Vernon holds deep roots and legacy for me. My great-great-grandmother migrated here from Virginia in the 1920s, and ever since then, my family has grown for decades planning our lives here in Mount Vernon. Both sides of my family have been in Mount Vernon for a while, so I have been able to see the rise and fall of my city over the years. I remember getting excited when I was younger to go to 4th Avenue and go shopping, or going to a store to find a new Sunday dress for church. I've seen pictures of the old Mount Vernon and how 4th Avenue used to be a two-way street, or how we used to have a trolley downtown in Mount Vernon to get people around before Beeline was a thing. There has been a shift in the resources available in our city and places to go over the years. And as someone who experienced Mount Vernon as a child and now an adult, I get motivated to be part of the change instead of complaining about what needs to be done. Being on this advisory board gave me the full opportunity to be heard, seen, and surrounded by like-minded individuals who had the same plans and emotions for this city. The Jewel of Westchester is perfect for this city as a name. Most people who have negative things to say about the city may not know the history about how rich Mount Vernon is. With this new comprehensive plan, it restores hope for residents of the city and future visitors and residents as well. I believe we will be bringing back the way we used to thrive and the community we used to have so that we can feel like a family again. But we can't do it alone. We have to start showing up for one another, for our community, and for the future of our city if we want to see it be better. I was also one of the youngest people on the advisory board, and I kept that in mind when constructing ideas on how to make the city better. It's not just about my age range and other young professionals, but it is also about the quality of life for our seniors, for our children, and the working class who live here and are trying to make ends meet on a day-to-day basis. Our future is looking brighter step by step, and thank you to everyone who allowed me to be a part of the board.
Thank you, Precious. We do appreciate your enthusiasm. It was very welcome. We definitely heard your voice throughout the process, and we are very grateful for it. So that concludes our program. You know, again, we're very excited to be at this point. Again, since 1968, 57 years in the making. Oh, I see Carlo over there, who's another advisory committee member, a little shy. But we're excited to be able to deliver this to the community and deliver this to the city after so long. It's really important, you know, for us. You know, as I mentioned, this is a beginning. It's not an end. The real work needs to be done. We took the time over the last 3+ years to envision Mount Vernon. Now is our time. Now is our time to execute. Now is our time to get it done. Now is the time to create, you know, a future vision for the next generation, because this is the template. This is the first step. And so we're going to be doing this every 10 years. And so let's get it done. Thank you, everyone.
So you've heard from so many. In closing, I just wanted to say this. As it's been stated over and over again, this is not the end. This is just the first step. And we're moving. So we want to make sure that people take the opportunity to come out and participate, not just to spectate and not just to complain, but come on out and participate. Continue as we move from the Envision Comprehensive Plan to the development and the adoption of a zoning ordinance, to come in and be part of the conversation about neighborhoods, about recreation, about economic development, about creating spaces, public safety, culture, entertainment, arts. There are so many ways for you to be involved. And so, again, as Precious said so eloquently, it's not just about complaining. It's about coming to lift up your voice. It's coming to serve your time, talent, provide your time, talent, and your treasure into the transformation and strengthening of the community that we all say that we love. Again, thank you so much. And thank you again, Commissioner Rouse, for shepherding this ship. And lastly, to Jeff Williams, because he's made comments online, to our former planning commissioner, Jeff Williams, to our former planning commissioner, Constance Post, to our former planning professional, David Woods. All of these are planning professionals who I saw make comments on your LinkedIn profile, and I think it was really profound. They said, we've tried this for so many years, and finally you got it across. And so it's not a start and stop, it's a start and continue. And